Hi guys, welcome to the Sportsbet Daily. I'm Alex, I'm your host today, and we are joined by Snize Master today for tennis. Later on, we have Adam for some CSGO eSports Pro Finals, and after that, Craig Edwards for some golf discussion, for some golf betting tips. Like usual, he's giving us some winners week in and week out. But let's start with Snize Master. Snize, welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you, man. Happy to be here. A new week, 4 new tournaments to break down. Excited to get into it.
Yeah, 4 new tournaments, and we talked before the show, you said that you are not happy with the weather. You are not happy with the rain going on. What's happening?
I mean, it's not as bad as last week was in Nottingham. Basically, the entire tournament had to be played indoors. But as usual in England, the weather is pretty shit. So it's been raining a bunch in London. The entire day yesterday washed out, and we've had rain delays today as well. They really need roofs. They do have one in Germany. Just 88 seconds, just zoot, and then you can keep playing. They need to do that in more tournaments, especially on grass.
Wow, that's huge. 88 seconds closing the roof. And because you were speaking about Germany, we are going directly in Germany, in Halle, with Roger Federer, huge favorite to win the competition, priced at even money, followed by Alexander Zverev, 7.6, Karen Khachanov, 7.6, Matteo Berrettini, 10.5, and Karen Khachanov is already in the quarterfinals. Strange that he will play the quarterfinals. Perhaps he will play Berrettini and one of them will go to the semifinals. So I think that is a good thing that both are priced very good right now, because after that you can cash out in a later stage, maybe in the semifinals. Also, David Goffin is in the quarterfinals. Some interesting matches going on tomorrow. What's your approach with this tournament?
So if you follow me guys on Twitter, as Snize Master, I tweeted out that I was on Roger Federer to win this tournament before it started at even money. This is basically his second home. He's won this tournament a record-breaking 9 times, and he's gunning for his 10th title here. He's won it 4 times in the last 6, I believe. So definitely a warranted favorite. He looked amazing during the clay swing, and that's only helped him going into the grass here in great form. So I don't, in this field, obviously we have a ton of big names, but I think it's going to be very tough for anyone to get close to Federer. So Federer to win is what I've gone with there. Haven't seen anything else that has convinced me of anyone else taking that title from him.
He looked good against Millman in the first round. Now he's facing Tsonga in the second round. Tsonga, a good player, a decent player on grass. Maybe not his favorite court, but he's looking good. After that, he has Gasquet or the Bautista Agut. After that, in the semifinals, he has an easy path. If you ask me, Chori Souza, Stakowski, or Herbert, maybe in the final to play with Karen Khachanov and to create him problems there. But let's go match by match a little bit. What are your favorite betting tips for tomorrow? And if you have one that we should go with 2 units.
So tomorrow we have 4 matches at the moment. We have a lot of larger favorites on this card here. So what I've decided to do is I've gone with Roberto Bautista Agut and Richard Gasquet. They're playing tomorrow. Bautista Agut is one of the few Spaniards who actually like playing on the faster surfaces. Most of them love playing on clay, slower surfaces. But he has really flat ground strokes, moves really well. So he's pretty good on grass. He looked good in dispatching the American Fritz in straight sets with a 6-0 bagel in the decider there. And he's going to face Richard Gasquet, who on his day is a great grass court player, but he's still recovering from a hernia surgery this January, and he isn't match fit yet. So what I've done there is I've gone with Roberto Bautista Agut to win. And I also parlayed him with Federer. He's going to face the aforementioned Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. Unfortunately, the Frenchman is far from his best days. The former world number 5 has slowed down with injuries and age, and I don't see any way that he'll threaten Federer here. So those two in a parlay gives you 1.96.
Even money. Almost even money. Almost doubling your money, yeah. Yeah, very good double. Also about the other two, do you have a take on Coric versus Sousa or Stakovsky versus Herbert?
Coric versus Sousa is going on right now. I haven't been able to watch this match, but it looks like we're going to get 3 sets. Coric probably gets through in 3 sets. So yeah, after that, he should obviously be a massive favorite. I don't think grass is great. He won the title obviously last year, but I don't think he's that good on grass. I think that was more of a one-off. He'll be good, solid, but I don't think he'll be elite on the surface. But definitely should be winning. He has a pretty easy draw here, so he should be winning most of his matches, even though it might be a struggle. And so the other matches we have...
No, go on. Sorry.
The other matches we have tomorrow is we're going to have Steve Johnson versus Alexander Zverev. And here I've gone with the over 22.5 games at 1.85. So Steve Johnson, he has a big serve, he has a big forehand, he has flat ground strokes and a wicked slice, and those weapons are very useful on the grass courts. He pretty easily beat the home player Philipp Kohlschreiber in round 1, straight sets 6-3, 6-3, and he will cause Zverev trouble, who I believe is still far from his best. He made, only 7 double faults in his first round match here, and that's actually quite a low number for him because he's been spraying them left and right recently. It's been a plague to his game, and he is on his 11th straight week of playing tennis, the 15th of his last 16, I believe. Still playing a really, really tight schedule, and he did manage to scrape by Hase in straight sets, but it was a struggle. He almost lost the second set, so I think this is going to be a tight one.
Yeah, it's very strange to see him playing so many weeks in a row. Do you think that he will take a break before Wimbledon?
I sure hope he does. Otherwise, I'll be fearing for him. I fear that he'll burn himself out sooner rather than later. So definitely don't want to see him entering more tournaments. Like Wimbledon is only a few weeks away. He would need a break to just reset his mind and body and be prepared for going deep in the slam.
Yeah, but listen, in Stuttgart, he lost in the first round against Brown there. So let's put it this way. He took a break in Stuttgart. He just played one match. Yes, a free setter. And he lost in 3 sets with Brown. But after that, he relaxed himself for 6 days before Halle. Now he is in the second round against Johnson, and as you say, Johnson might cause him trouble. This is why the odds are so good for Alexander Zverev right now, 1.54. Normally against someone like Johnson, we cannot see him more than 1.35. So the book is no. He's tired. He's playing a lot lately. So let's increase the price a little bit because he might lose again in the second round in Halle too. So to relax more for Wimbledon. This is Halle. You wanna add something else for Halle?
No, the other match that is tomorrow is Matteo Berrettini versus Andrea Seppi. Berrettini obviously won the title in Stuttgart last week, but he's been going on good despite being tired. He had a similar run where he won Budapest and then went to the final in Munich. So I don't think fatigue will be a problem for him. He should win that match pretty easily. But the odds aren't that good, so I decided to stay off of that one. But if you want a parlay partner, Odds are pretty low,
Berrettini.
like around 122, but you could definitely stick Berrettini in there.
Absolutely. Okay, that's about it with Halle. We're going at Queen's Club in London. Very, very nice tournament also there. Huge, not huge, but favorite to win the competition, to the tournament, Marin Cilic at 6. After that, Stefanos Tsitsipas at 7.5. Daniil Medvedev at 9, and Kevin Anderson with Daniil Medvedev there at 9. How to approach this tournament? What do you think? Who will win the title here? Because we also have Del Potro here. We also have who else? Nicolas Mahut, who had an excellent, if you ask me, Roland Garros for his age. And very interesting, he already won against Francis Tiafoe in the first round. Easier than I predicted, and he was the underdog also there. So how to approach this this tournament?
So again, on Twitter, this was one of the tournaments that I had a pre-tournament outright betting for, and I went ahead and picked Juan Martín del Potro to win. I think there were this draw is loaded. There are a lot of big names in here, but there are question marks surrounding almost all of the players here. For example, we had Felix Auger-Aliassime, who just went to the final in Stuttgart, could be fatigued. Manarino won the title in Hertogenbosch, could also be fatigued. Alex de Minaur hasn't looked fit. Cilic, Raonic, Kevin Anderson also have injury doubts. Tsitsipas, I still believe, is in a Roland Garros hangover. So yeah, a lot of question marks surrounding all of the players. So I like Del Potro there. He has big ground strokes. He has the game to dominate on grass. Unfortunately, he got injured again today. His knee, he slipped on the grass. And they were saying he has swelling there on his knee. We don't know how serious it is yet. But if it's bad, he's going to withdraw.
This is why the book is took out the odds for him to win the title here. So his last no odds on him. So probably he's out. We will find later on today or early tomorrow in the morning if he can continue to play in this competition. If not, I think that it will be a void bet, right? Because of the injury.
No, the book is usually give you the loss on that one, even if it's an injury. You've bet on him to win the tournament, and if he doesn't win the tournament for any reason, you'll lose your money, unfortunately. That's the way it goes with these outrights. But if he can't continue, I like Marin Cilic to win. He looked really good versus Garin in his first match. He obviously has the game to dominate on grass with his huge serve and huge forehand. And he is a former champion here. He won the tournament a few years ago, so he could definitely be the man to beat should Del Potro go out here.
Okay, what about Kevin Anderson, the other favorite, and Daniil Medvedev?
I didn't like what I saw from Medvedev last week in Stuttgart. He was really pissed at the grass wasn't in great condition. But he's been out of sorts. He's been struggling a bit with injuries. He's on a big downturn. I think he's 0-5 since Barcelona. Lost a lot of matches recently. So I wouldn't want to bet on him until I see him. Obviously, he beat Verdasco easily, but I still wouldn't want to risk money on him outright until I see him right the ship physically and mentally and look good for a couple of matches there. As for Anderson, he looked much better than I thought. He's been gone for 3 months with tennis elbow. That's a troublesome injury right there. But he looked really good versus Cameron Norrie. A bit rusty at the start, but came back strong and won that. So I would definitely have a little bit of interest in Anderson. If he's continuing to progress like he does here, he'll be lethal. Obviously, Wimbledon finalist last year. So definitely look out for Kevin Anderson. That's a huge price on him.
Okay, someone is asking us why are double matches not talked or bet on as actively as singles. Tell us why.
I don't actually know. It's just I guess people don't find him quite as hype. You won't really get super long rallies often at a time. It's a lot of serving, a lot of volleying. Point construction is different. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like doesn't tickle that many people's fancy, I guess. I'm just used to seeing the big names battle out in singles.
They are
Yeah, I
very
don't know. I think
entertaining,
doubles tennis is
though.
nice, but can
I
get a bit
love
repetitive.
watching them. Very entertaining ones.
Yeah, I think it can get a bit repetitive though, but definitely nothing that I dislike. I don't actually know why people don't watch it more and why it isn't talked about. I'm not that into doubles tennis myself, so have to work a bit harder on that part. But I have nothing against it.
Okay, Craig is asking us, can Lopez beat Delpo? Delpo is got injured today again, so if he will play, I don't think that he will play, to be honest, because Wimbledon is just around the corner, and he might go and skip all this week and the next week and get ready for Wimbledon with his knee problem. Hopefully, he will participate in Wimbledon, and we will see him there. But I believe that he will retire, and Feliciano Lopez will advance in the quarterfinals there. Do you have a favorite bet for tomorrow from London, from Queen's Club?
Just 1 second. I got a question here from Craig. If Zverev is suited by grass, he definitely is. Has a pretty good record still in his young career. He obviously has huge ground strokes. I think he still needs to work on being a bit more aggressive, stepping into the court and attacking the ball with his forehand and backhand. But he has all the tools to be successful on grass for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, he just needs to control his nerves a little bit. He just needs few years more to be at the level that everyone thinks that he will be, because Alexander Zverev is one of the few people right now who are coming from behind, and everybody is waiting for them to beat Federer, to beat Nadal, to beat Djokovic, and so on. So we are waiting for a miracle to happen, and some of them can really win a major here, because not that I'm sick of these three guys to win majors, but come on, someone needs to stop this thing, how it is on the WTA, because mostly I watch WTA. At WTA, you never know who will win after Serena retired, let's say, after Sharapova retired also. By the way, we'll arrive also later to Sharapova. Yeah, that I hope that some of them will get better and really show that we are not only counting on Federer, Djokovic, or Nadal. Okay, that's it with Queen's Club?
No. The bets.
Okay, the bets.
So we only have 3 matches on the schedule for Queens tomorrow. Obviously, can't say anything about the Del Potro Lopez match. If he somehow is fit, he wins that match, no problem, I think. If he's not fit, well, he'll probably retire to preserve his body for Wimbledon. So no bets on that one. And on the other 2, we have Gilles Simon versus Kevin Anderson and Marin Cilic versus Diego Schwartzman. I've gone ahead and parlayed both Cilic and Anderson to win their matches. Cilic looked in fine form, as we touched upon earlier in beating Garan. Quite a dangerous opponent who has been in great form this year, so that was impressive. Former champion here, great game on grass. I don't think he'll have too much trouble with Diego Schwartzman, who's only won 2 matches in his entire career on grass, and that's including the win he had versus Bublik, a very, very unorthodox and weird player there. So he should not be a threat. I think the serves will just bounce over him. He's quite a man of short stature, so to speak.
Yes.
So he'll have a very tough time on grass with the kick serves, with the bounces, with the power. He's just not naturally suited to this surface physically, and he hasn't spent so much effort mentally trying to improve himself on grass either. So Cilic to win that, And Anderson, like I also said earlier, looked very good in returning from tennis elbow. Gilles Simon is one of the old guard, famous French player, been around for a long time, but he is declining. And if Anderson plays like he can play, I think he wins without problem.
Okay, that's about it from Queen's Club. You heard it here. Cilic to win the tournament. He looks very good. Schwarzman is. I love watching him on clay. He's a really talented player on clay. But like you said, he's very short and the ball will bounce over him when Cilic will serve. Going to the women's side, and yes, we are talking Mallorca, Spain. Grass again, and Sharapova is back. Sharapova is back, and not only she's back, she won today against Kuzmova, a talented player, Kuzmova, 7-6, 6-0. I hate to say that. I hate Sharapova in general, but it's good to see her back. I heard her from Mallorca till my house without watching TV. She did an impressive match there. Tomorrow she will do the same against Angelique Kerber. A great match in my opinion. I will cheer for Kerber, despite the fact that I hate her too. Yeah, interesting competition there. Mertens, we have her in the quarterfinals already. Very big surprise. I was looking earlier. Garcia beat Azarenka. Not very big surprise, but a surprise in my opinion. Anisimova went through not without 2-1. Ons Jabeur. I was looking for Ons Jabeur last year. She had some decent results. She retired against Kenan in the second round. Very disappointing there because she was a very good player, talented, and she could do a great job in all courts. I think that I was watching her also on grass, also on clay. But what do you think about this tournament? Who is your favorite to win this tournament? My favorite, to be honest, right now is Elise Mertens. I really think that she might go all the way.
Yeah, definitely we have an interesting tournament on our hands here, and I would agree with you that Mertens is dangerous, very dangerous. She's been working her way back from a shoulder injury that gave her problems during the clay court swing, but she's back now and she's back in full form. Looks really good out there, and definitely one of the two finalists, I would say, here in this tournament from her bottom half. I haven't jumped on it yet, but the odds just came out for her quarterfinal versus Kenan. She's a slight favorite there, and I would definitely jump on her to win that match. Yeah, 1.7.
1.75 with Betfair.
Yeah, that's a good price. I definitely favor her in that one. So, but I think we're forgetting about someone here. Angelique Kerber, seeded #1 in Mallorca. In my opinion, the world's best player on grass. Obviously won Wimbledon last year. Has been struggling with injury herself. But she came back. She struggled a bit, as would be expected, but she won. And until Ashley Barty, who I think will dethrone her this year at Wimbledon, she's still the woman to beat on grass. So if she is in form, I think she wins this tournament. Likely faces Mertens in the final.
That's a good thing. Anisimova, anything on Anisimova? Do you think that she can create some magic also on grass?
She definitely can. She's a supreme talent, future world #1. She has everything. She has the huge ground stroke. She has the counter punching. She has the serve. She has the mental fortitude under pressure. Obviously, you just haven't seen enough of her on grass yet. This was her first match in this tournament that she's played on grass in her career. So I just want to see a little bit more of her on the surface against quality opposition to see how she fares there before I make any judgment of her on grass. But definitely want to look out for supreme talent there.
Okay. Any good bets for tomorrow?
So tomorrow we have, let us see here, 4 matches here. Again, quite the favorite heavy field. Pretty hard to find value here. We have Caroline Garcia versus Paula Badosa. Garcia obviously won the title in Nottingham. So it's a bit hard to see where she's physically. She did, as you say, come back to beat Azarenka. Don't know how she'll fare physically. Paula Badosa made an upset there. She wasn't expected to win her match versus Alison Risk, but she was obviously coming off a title as well, and she came through in 3 sets there. Obviously, I would expect her to win, but I haven't got any bets on it with the spread. Spread is quite hefty, and I don't know what to make of her fitness right now after that tournament win. So I'm just skipping on that. The match I have bet on is Angelique Kerber versus Maria Sharapova. And as I said earlier, she is still.
Tell me that you are going with Kerber there. Tell me you're going with Kerber there.
I am. I will make your wish come true.
1.75.
I will make your wish come true. I don't know why you hate both Sharapova and Kerber, but definitely I think Kerber is the better player here. This is only Sharapova's second match back from injury. Kerber, like I said, best player in the world on grass, in my opinion, at least until Barty comes through there. She has the movement, she has the counter punching, she has everything she needs. Grass is her favorite surface, and we're getting almost odds of a pick'em here because of the injury situation for both players. But on a normal day, I think Kerber is this much stronger player, and she should win without too much difficulty if she's at her best. So I've gone with Kerber to win there. I got 1.73.
1.75 right now with Betfair.
Oh, there you go. Gone up a little bit. So 1.75. Nice. So for the other matches,
okay. That's it
like
with Mallorca. We are finished with Mallorca, right?
Yeah, I don't have any other bets. I think Anisimova wins versus Coronet, but I'm not tempted enough to bet it. And I think Bencic wins versus Rogers as well, but passing on that one. So that's it for Mallorca.
And Birmingham, WTA Birmingham, huge upsets today. Ostapenko against Joanna Konta. I didn't expect that. I thought that Joanna Konta will destroy Ostapenko, if you ask me. Anyway, not only that, but we had the 2 sisters, Carolina against Cristina. And Cristina, the younger one, won against her sister. I think that she's the younger one with few minutes, I heard. Something like that. Won against her sister, and she was priced at 3.75, something like that. So huge upsets today. Tomorrow, do you think that we'll see any upsets?
So looking at tomorrow, the card again is extremely favorite heavy. We only have one favorite who is in astronomical numbers, really, and that's Venus Williams. I don't think we see any upsets on this card tomorrow. I would be very surprised to see anyone lose here. If it would be someone to lose, I would still say it's Naomi Osaka. Grass, she looked great versus Sakkari, but grass, she said in the past, isn't her favorite surface. She's been a bit afraid of slipping, and it's still a work in progress, according to herself, getting more comfortable with grass, getting more comfortable with clay. Putintseva is pretty dangerous on faster surfaces. But yeah, I don't really see it. I don't see any favorites in trouble tomorrow, no.
Yeah, so let's give Putintseva a plus 4.5 on the Asian handicap at 1.97. I think that she will be able to cover that handicap.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit too big, I feel. Should hang tough in that one. So yeah, as for bets for me,
who will win Birmingham? Venus Williams. I don't know. She's the master of grass. She was the master of grass in the past. Who will do it? Ashley Barty. I think that Ashley Barty is now the heavy favorite at 3.25, followed by Naomi Osaka at 4.5. Petra Martic at 8, and Yelena Ostapenko at 9.
I think Ashley Barty is the woman to beat here. The Barty party continues. Very unexpected title for Barty at Roland Garros. No one thought her first major would come on clay, but she did it. She proved that she could use her weapons, her slice on clay. Now she moves on to her favorite surface. She's got the variety, she's got the serve, she's got the movement, she's got the calmness under pressure. She's got a wicked slice that plays perfectly on the green stuff. Definitely the woman to beat here. I don't see anyone coming close to defeating her in this tournament. I think she wins it. She marches on to Wimbledon, wins Wimbledon, which is a bet I've already played a few weeks ago. So Barty is definitely the woman to beat. I think she's going to be the new queen of grass. So that's a good price. Gonna go ahead and play that myself. I'm seeing 3.25 right now at Pacific 365.
Yeah,
definitely Barty for the title.
I hate the fact that Bertens disappointed us last week with that terrible final, terrible second half to that final. Absolutely disappointing. 3 match points there. Incredible match. I don't know how on hell she got it wrong there. Anyway, any good tips you're looking for tomorrow in Birmingham?
Yes, I'm gonna head with another parlay. Obviously, huge favorites, and though I don't see the upsets coming, I don't want to get involved with heavy spreads at this point. So I've gone ahead and played Barty to win her match. She's playing Jennifer Brady, who is good on fast surfaces, but as I said, Barty is arguably the best grass player in the world right now. She didn't skip a beat in her first match on grass. She looked excellent in winning that one. So I don't see her having too much trouble here. She should win that pretty comfortably. So yeah, I've gone ahead and played Barty, and I've parlayed her with Venus Williams. The older of the Williams sisters. She won her first grass match outside of Wimbledon since 2011, believe it or not, 8 years ago. She rarely plays tournaments before Wimbledon. She usually only plays Wimbledon on the grass season. So with her coming in here and deciding to play, I think she's here. She means business, and she proved that today. I was on her to win today, and she did. Without too much trouble versus Alexander Sasnovich. She's a 7-time Wimbledon winner. Her game is pretty much made for grass with her huge power, and she moves really slickly on the surface. She's going to face Qiang Wang here, who is a pretty talented player, but as of right now, with Venus looking solid, I don't think she has a chance. So Venus Williams and Barty to win. That gives 1.90.
Okay, very nice parlay. So you heard it here first. Very good betting tips for tomorrow from the WTA side, from Queen's Club and from Halle, from ATP, from Queen's Club and from Halle, from WTA, from Mallorca and from Birmingham. Good sign. Sharapova is back. She won today. I had to say it, but it's a fact. It's reality. Ashley Barty is going good. Roger Federer is going good. Marin Cilic on that side, on his side, is going good. So thank you, Snize, for joining us. And see you next week with some more tennis tips. We will preview the tournaments for the next week. Thank you for joining me, and best of luck with your bets.
Thank you for having me, guys. Have a nice evening.
Okay, and now Mr. Esports, Mr. the one and only Adam, our very good friend, my brother. What's up, mate? We cannot hear you. Wait, it's from us.
Every time. And I hear myself now. You can hear...
Now we can hear you.
Good.
Yeah, drink your water and
so
tell us, how you've been. I see you posting every day. The season is going on all year long for you on eSports. Counter-Strike Go. I'm losing. There are so many tournaments going on at the same time. How you are able to see them or to cap them, or how you're doing it?
It's like tennis in that sense. And it's because of how much esports stuff there is. I only do men's tennis. You know, like you sort of have to pick and choose with these sports that are sort of 365 days a year. And CSGO is just one of the esports, right? So I know guys that will only bet CSGO. They won't even look at the other games, and they're still busy. So with this tournament, it's I mean, we're into June right now.
Let's first say about what tournament we're talking about, the ESL Pro League Season 9 World. And I have a big question for you. I see the losers stage and the winner stage. Please tell us why.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like the every esports tournament, the format is different. The structure is different. The one this week is split into a Group A. So there's 16 teams. It's a Group A and Group B. Everybody starts in a A or B bracket, which is the upper bracket. You lose from there, you go to the lower bracket. You lose from the lower bracket, you're out. 2 teams from the upper bracket move straight to the playoffs. The number 1 team in the upper bracket goes to semifinals. The number 2 team in the upper bracket goes to quarterfinals. And then from the lower bracket, where 6 teams move down from the upper bracket, only 1 team emerges. So if you lose when one of your first 2 matches in the upper bracket, you are 1 loss away from elimination, and it's pretty. There's some really good teams in the lower bracket, so you definitely don't want to move down there because it's not like, okay, well, in the lower bracket you're just going to face off against shitty teams. So
okay, we have Team Liquid in the loser stage that in the lower bracket, as you said, Team Liquid.
Team Liquid,
are
number 1 in the world right
away
now
from elimination. Yeah.
Oh, my videos.
There.
Okay.
You're back.
Yeah, but yeah, Liquid. So remember, I think I was either chatting with you or Nat in the last couple of weeks, and I was sort of saying Liquid, number 1 team, right? Like, should we be respecting that top position?
So practically, they are one step away from getting eliminated, right?
Yeah, that's right. And so tomorrow they have to win 2 more matches to get to playoffs. So tomorrow, so the matches just went up. So day 2 finished about 30 minutes ago, and so far
we have
day 1 I was down 2 units, had a couple close losses. Day 2, I think I went 4 and 5. I think it was about a 1 unit loss. But you know me, I was on like some 5.0 dogs and 8.0 dog, you know, some really big ones. And we had a couple close ones, like Luminosity came really close to taking a map against MIBR. But I'm going to continue to take those shots because that's one of the reasons why we bet esports. The lines are not efficient. We frequently see these dogs upset much better teams on paper. So this is something always to be concerned about is just like other sports, if the favorite is overhyped, overvalued, then you have to look the other way. I mean, today Liquid really took care of business against Tyloo, and they were justified at, you know, like a 1.5 on the spread. But, you know, a 1.2, 1.3 to go 2-0 is just crazy considering the talent level that's at the tournament. So it's something that you have to remember there is a limit to how frequently these favorites will take care of business. But
So this competition, do you have a favorite future odds, an outright odds, who will win the competition or something similar? Who will make it to the finals? Do we have odds for that, or do we don't have yet?
We did before the tournament started. Sometimes they open up right before the playoffs start. So like after tomorrow, you can hop on one of the remaining 6 teams for who will win. Most of the value's kind of depleted on everybody but the bigger dogs at that point. In the case of this tournament, Astralis was priced at like 2.1, 2.2 everywhere. Given what we saw from them last week at ECS in London, I didn't like that price at all. I thought it should be minimum like a 2.6, 2.7, and so I decided to pass on that. Liquid, the #1 team in the world right now, who still has yet to beat Astralis at like a truly big land like this one. They were priced around, I think, 3.2 was about the average price. I didn't want to take a shot at that either because Liquid, look at them, they lost their opening match against North. I mean, this is, of the remaining teams, let me just go through. Of the remaining teams, Astralis, G2, FaZe and Mousesports, Liquid, and North. Those are my teams that truly have a contending chance to win. So FaZe and Mousesports are both through to the playoffs for sure, but they will play tomorrow to decide who goes to semifinals and who goes to quarterfinals. Do you want me to go through the what I've taken a look at for the bets tomorrow, or do you want me to talk about Astralis Energy?
No, absolutely. We are talking about the best bets for tomorrow. I was just breaking down a little bit how is the tournament going, what is happening with the loser stage, winner stage, and so on. We have 2 comments for your T-shirt. John T says that he respects the T-shirts, Canadian boy, and failed at live 666 says top button unbutton 10 out of 10.
I know. I thought
I
it was coming on the show first.
Don't worry, you will see Craig Edwards later on with his golf stuff. He has the same thing with you. You guys are hot. I understand that. I totally do. After we finish the video,
England is just so tropical, Alex. England is really tropical this time of year, right?
Don't tell me about tropical. Don't tell me about the 33 Celsius today. Come on. I'm dying sweating here, and you have the unbuttoned shirt. Come on.
I know.
You must be ashamed.
I know. Yourself. I got no sleeves on under this one. Yeah. All right. Let's get into it quick because I know Craig will be wanting to get on here. So right now, only 2 books that I use have lines up: Betway and BetOnline. Betway has the -1.5 Astralis against NRG at 1.80. Earlier, when I was writing the article previewing the matchup, it was 1.85. The 1.80 still has value. I would say you could take it probably down to 1.7 here, and it'll be a lot of more of it will be the substance of why it will be in the article. I just think NRG, given that they've just gone through a roster swap with their in-game leader, they have looked decent. Don't get me wrong, against G2 and Fnatic. And Astralis has kind of been looking a bit loose, a bit sloppy. And NRG has potential to take a map against Astralis, especially if they get a Train or if they get Mirage. Mirage is a map that Astralis has lost. Also, Astralis will be picking Inferno or Nuke here, depending on which map NRG bans. If it's Nuke, Astralis has lost 3 straight on it. So the once dominant map where they're looking at 30 straight wins, that streak is broken. Teams have figured them out a little bit, and Astralis hasn't continued to reinvent the wheel. So reinvent the wheel? I don't know if that's the expression. Anyway, so I'm still going to go with Astralis 2-0 here. I think there's value at the 1.8, 1.85. The other match that already has a lineup at Betway was North versus MI.
Let me ask you. There are 2 matches very balanced. MIBR versus North, MIBR 1.95, North 1.83, and FaZe versus Mousesports 1.92 and 1.86. And do you think that is clever to do in-play betting? Because what I'm hearing from you is like when I cap football, about where they're playing, home or away, how important is this competition for them. But you are saying about maps. Some teams love some maps and they are very good at them, and some others different maps. So basically, let's in-play them. Let's see what is the map that they love. They will choose their map. We go directly in play and we win some money, right?
Yeah, so one of the things that's helped me remain really profitable through the last few years in CSGO betting is by figuring out, to the best of my ability, which maps are likely to come up in what in the series. So which maps will be banned right away, picked right away, and then what is likely to be the 1 or 2 decider maps. The reason you want to get ahead of the actual veto is because the moment the veto happens, the odds shift significantly. So because people do exactly what you did, which you just said. The common sense thing is, I don't want to take the chance, so I want to see it. It's kind of like, well, no, it's not like that. I'm trying to think of a sports comparison.
Yeah, it's difficult to find a sports comparison with maps, because we are just playing home and away. It's not a maybe there are some sports, but it doesn't come to my mind right now. But
so with there only being 7 maps, a site that I use, which is kind of like my homepage at this point in most CSGO tournaments, is HLTV. They have map data through tens of thousands of games going back 5 years, right? So it is the optimal. I mean, there is not very many comparable sites in traditional sports betting where you can just see everything laid out there with what rosters, the specific rounds that each team won, if it was a clutch. I mean, they even have the highlights clipped on the pages. So it really is a bettor's dream to try and utilize it. You can, if you ever want to talk to me about some more advanced statistics to look into, I'm happy to. I don't want to get into it much here, but you want to try to guess the maps before they get released to try to get ahead of the line movement. Yes, there's a risk involved, but say, okay, for example, tomorrow you have FaZe versus Mouse Sports. We have data to say FaZe has looked really good on Mirage and Dust, okay? So let's say that FaZe's choice is Dust. Well, are you going to play FaZe anyway on that one? Because if you are, the moment that the map is known, the FaZe line as a 1.9 as opposed to a 1.8, it will drop to being a slight favorite against Mouse Sports on their map. So for tomorrow, sure, you'd say, okay, well, at least I got that one right and I was double sure. But over a long, long time, you are losing so much value by trying to wait for the veto when you really could say, well, Mouse Sports is going to ban Vertigo or Mouse Sports is going to ban Mirage, which they won't, but I'm just giving examples. So try to just get on HLTV and do a little bit of homework, and you can find much better pricing. For example, Hellraisers is playing Liquid tomorrow. Their map choice will likely be Mirage. It's the map they kind of been going to every single time. So you could just bet Hellraisers to cover the +5.5 on their map pick when that comes out, or +6.5, whatever rounds handicap. Anyway, so the next match
your favorite spot for tomorrow, Astralis 2-0, right?
So that was the only matchup that was known when I was writing the article earlier. So that was the one I wrote in all that detail about. I do love that. I also really love North 1.8. I would take, honestly, North is in such better form than MIBR right now. I would take them down to 1.65, 1.66, -150 for you American guys. MIBR, last week North played them, and I think MIBR was up 14-3, 14-4 in a best of one. North came back to win it in overtime. I was on North for that match. It was one of those feel good. We got, the 90th minute goal kind of feelings. And that's what that kind of, yeah, that's right. That's kind of what that comeback is like. It really shouldn't happen. But I think North is better than they were at ECS last week. I think they have a better map pool, better CT side. and better tee side. That's when I did the preview for that previous match. I said it's a matter of who will have the better tee side because both teams do have strong CT sides. So I'm going to be taking North at 1.8. I just don't think they'll be an underdog at any book, and so I'm going to jump on this as soon as the show's over. And so those are my first two. I haven't taken a closer look at any other matches so far. G2 is a significant favorite against Heroic. I'm going to do the map breakdown and then see if Heroic plus 1.5 has any value. G2 has just looked a bit sloppy. So with Hellraiser's Liquid, there's just no value on Liquid here. This is the opening match tomorrow. Hellraiser's plus 1.5 or to take their map is the play. I think Liquid minus 1.5 is going to be like 1.3, 1.4, something really, really short. Yeah, it's 1.3 at Betway, 1.4 at BetOnline. So I'm going to take Hellraisers plus 1.5. Hopefully the map is Mirage. Hopefully they have a bit more to show for. And then I'll take Liquid 2 to win 2-1 on that. So I did that earlier this week between fours and Liquid. Liquid dropped Mirage to fours and then came back to win 2-1. So yeah, those are the three plays that I'm already really liking. FaZe Mousesports, that's a tough one. They both are looking a bit better. Mousesports has certainly got everyone's attention. They looked dominant today, looked dominant yesterday. So FaZe almost let me down. I was on FaZe today and they had a 12-3 lead on the final map, and that one went to overtime, Alex. And Hannah was downstairs, and I was saying, "Why aren't you flashing around the corner?" And she's saying, "Are you yelling at me?" Because she thought.
Unfortunately, Adam, I need to let you go. Unfortunately, we have less time for our show, and Greg needs to give us some incredible goal tips. But great talking to you as always, and see you next week for another round of esports betting tips. Loved your breakdown. If you want to read more, go to oddsmarket.com. Adam is writing articles week in and week out. This week he has 3 articles, including some Dota 2. Some Counter-Strike Go.
Yeah, Dota 2 and StarCraft are Thursday and Friday. Really big tournaments coming up. So, and one is the StarCraft is for the grand final on Saturday. So it's a good week and weekend for esports. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you for joining me. Best of luck with your bets.
Yeah, bye.
So we have Mr. Golf and Mr. Snooker, Mr. Betting, huge betting odds, Craig Edwards coming to join us to preview the Travelers Championship starting June 20, tomorrow that is, and ending as usual on Sunday. There are 2 golf tournaments going on this week, but we decided to talk about this one. So, Craig, nice to have you on the show for the first time, and on my show for the first time. And thank you for all your incredible work that you are doing for Oddsmarket, your great bets that you are giving to your clients from Twitter. And yeah, tell us something about golf, because I really don't know anything about golf. I was trying to find some questions, what to ask you. What are you looking when you are betting on golf?
Well, I'm looking for players coming into form, really. So I like a player that has promised to play well the week previous, and we then visit a course where he's previously played well on. And when you get that mix together of a player that's coming into form and then he's going to a course that he's played well on before, he will be looking forward to it. Even travelling there, he's feeling better about the week ahead. And that's the starting place you look at. You also look at the current stats of players to see how they're performing on the greens, how they're performing hitting the fairways, and they can reaffirm your judgment, but you shouldn't really go blindly on the stats, because golf is a feel game, it's a touch game, it's a hand-to-eye coordination game, and the players have to be nicely relaxed and in the zone to play the very best.
Okay, you usually go for huge odds from 35 to 1,000, let's say. And many times you are very successful because you don't need many huge odds to win. You just need 1 in 10, for example, a 50 to 1, a 100 to 1, something like that. And here it is, you made a lot of money with just one kind of bet. Why are you going with these type of betting odds, and you are not going, for example, because I guess also in golf they exist 2 to 1, 3 to 1, and stuff like that. That one to be in front of the other one, you know, at lower odds there. Why do you prefer big odds?
Oh, well, I prefer big odds because it spreads risk, and so you can stake slightly less but have more bets. And in golf, for argument's sake, you can have the bookmakers are not always as clued up as they should be. So you can have someone that they make 150 to 1 at, and when you make your tissue, you may have him at 33 to 1. And when that mix comes in, you're happy to be betting the 150 to 1 shot. Yes, you will have longer losing runs, and there are a lot of match bets available on golf. You can also reduce your variance by playing the place market. So this week, I put up for example, Kevin Streelman, who's got remarkable form at the Travellers, a previous winner, 4 times the top 10 this season. So he's my banker this week. He's for a top 20 finish at 5 to 2 or 3.5. And the chances of him hitting that is pretty much 50%. He's pretty much 50% chance of hitting it. So you won't go poor. The beauty of golf betting is you've got so many different markets to choose from. Yes, I like the higher odds, and I'm quite comfortable with it because I've been doing it for so many years. And but of course, with higher odds, you'll have longer losing runs. So, but you know, it's not inconceivable at golf that you'll pick 1 or 2 100 to 1 winners in a season. You can't do that in any other sport because you've got 150 runners every week, and the dynamics change. So some weeks players are coming to a course that suits them, suits their eye. They might be travelling to their hometown or travelling somewhere they've got good memories to. And there's so many different dynamics go in the mix that the bookmakers do struggle to accurately price it. And you know, of course, you can back 150 to 1 shot and he'll run like his price, and you may look a little bit silly. But as long as you're sensible with the staking, you can have a lot of good fun betting on the golf at the high odds.
I was reading your article, and you're saying that the holes 15 to 18 are located around a 4-acre lake, making it very, very entertaining.
It does.
Does that change your whole situation? That means that you're looking also in that when you're picking your winners.
Yes, well, definitely the player with the greatest form here is Bubba Watson, and he's a proper showman. And these holes is a real amphitheatre for the crowds. There's a real raucous atmosphere, and you know, some players may shrink in that, but some players, they love it. Like Jordan Spieth. He won the other year, and he loves to be in the limelight, and the top players do love to be in the limelight. And those last 4 holes are quite an exam. You've got all the holes are surrounded by water, so the slightest error and you're in the water, and all your good work has gone to ruin, really. So yeah, definitely the last 4 holes this week normally play a big part in the tournament.
I totally get that. I wanted to ask you for a long time because many people are asking me on my direct messages. They are reading your articles on oddsmarket.com, and most of the times you are going each way. Please tell us what each way means in golf, because many people want to hear that from you.
Okay, well, each way you're going to have half your stake on the win, which for argument's sake at 100 to 1, you'll have half your stake at 100 to 1. And then the bookmakers do different fractions. So some bookmakers will do a quarter the odds, first 5 places. So then you'll have £1 win for the first 5 places at 25 to 1. Some bookmakers do a fifth of the odds, first 8 places. So in that case, you'll have the stake at 20 to 1, but you've got an extra 3 places. You should shop around because, in truth, if you can get 8 places, take them over 5, because in the long run, if you think about it, those 3 places is, well, it might only be, sort of 4% of the field or something, but it will add to your profits long term, and definitely shop around for the best place options. Sometimes, however, like this week, Bubba Watson, for example, we have him at 35 to 1, and he's a quarter the first 5 places. We've decided to go for that option this week because the chances of Bubba finishing the top 5 are high. He either gets involved and he stays there, or he doesn't really get involved. So shopping around for the smaller places wasn't so important because we think Bubba's going to win or be in the top 5. But in general, you've got the choice. You can take the higher route, but I would suggest most times if you can get 8 places, take them over 5.
So Travelers Championship, whom are you looking at for an each way, for a winner, for a top 20? Run us with your best tips, please.
Right, well, my 5 tips on my article. We'll start with Bubba. Bubba's won it 3 times here. Last year I tipped him, and he opened at 50 to 1. This week he opened at 40 to 1. He's won it 3 times in 8 years. Yes, he played badly last week at the US Open, but that's nothing new for Bubba. He has 3 banks of superb form on courses. This is one, other one's Riviera, and the other one's Augusta for the Masters. You can back him blind almost, above 20 to 1 above. You will not go poor because, as well as winning it 3 times in the last 8 years, he's been 3 times in the top 5. So
wow.
It was just a no-brainer to bet Bubba. And when he opened at 40 to 1, I was shocked. I just jumped all over it. And I mean, my tissue, I'd have him just about favourite on this course, to be truthful. I know people, that's a bit extreme, but that's how good he is here. Next player I like is an Australian, Mark Leishman, who's really consistent on the PGA Tour. He's a previous winner here as well. I think he's 50% strike rate of being in the top 10, and that's often in the top 5. So he's a sporting each way bet. I think there's 28 to 1, 33 to 1 available. He should give you a good run for your money. The big price I like is CT Pan. Just won the Heritage Classic. And then 2 starts ago at the Charles Schwab Challenge, he was 3rd at 125 to 1. And the bookmakers are still making him 100 to 1. It's only 5 weeks since he won the Heritage. Yes, he had a bad week at the US Open, but that's nothing for him. He's quite erratic, but at 100 to 1, if he gets near the top of the leaderboard, he may well win this week or be placed. So that's a great bet, CT Pan. His first 2 seasons on the PGA Tour, this was his best tournament when he wasn't as an accomplished player like he is now. So he likes the course. He's coming back here, and I think that's a great bet because I think you could really have 100 to 1 winner there. Then to reduce the variance, because they're a bit big prices, as you say, Alex, we've gone for Kevin Streelman.
I see 3.5, absolutely amazing for you. I never seen 5 to 3.5 in decimal. I think this is the first time I'm seeing such a small price from you.
Yeah, it is, and I like to throw in the odd banker for people because if Kevin Streelman can get into the top 20 this week, it means that pretty much they won't lose much across the overall staking. Then they can free roll the rest and have a bit of fun, and hopefully it's nothing that you could get 3 winners in a week on a golf tournament. You could have the winner, Kevin Streelman places, and you could have another place. So you can pretty much clean up on a course where you have a good read like this one.
I wanna win this week, Bubba Watson at 35 to 1. I wanna win Kevin Streelman at top 20, 3.5, and CT Pan each way to go second at 100 to 1. What about that?
Definitely, but I'd have CT Pan to win by then. If they're playing head-to-head, Bubba, we'll have CT Pan. We'll have that little bit of extra, shall we? But I think Bubba's the sort of player. If he gets up there, he'll win. He'll either be off for the weekend and put the ball in the lake a few times, or he'll get interested and he'll win. One other course specialist. He's a pretty average PGA player in his living, but I put him on as a top 20 bet. It was Chris Stroud at 16 to 1. He's got a 50% strike rate of top 20 finishes here, and although he's out of form, them sort of course specialists you just cannot ignore. You ignore them at your peril. So again, people could have that a little bet at 16 to 1 for a top 20 finish, and we've got a situation then, Alex, where if Chris Stroud placed, you still made profit for the week. So it's a beautiful thing, golf betting. There's no getting away from it. You know, it really is.
You make profit. No, you don't make profit. You make around 14 units of profit if he wins. If he's the only winner, you make. If you bet all of them, I mean. But I prefer City Pan second and Baba Watson first, and let's call it a week here. One extra thing from BMW Championship, I think that this week, I just wanted to ask you for your best bet from there, and I will let you go.
Best bet from the BMW is a similar profile to Bubba Watson, twice a winner there. Pablo Larrazabal, Spanish player, twice a winner at the venue. He's also been placed a couple of times. He's an absolute rock solid bet. Coming off a couple of top tens in his last two of his last three starts, you can't go wrong. Just have a nice each way bet on Larrazabal. Even have a little each way parlay with Bubba Watson, and you might have a 40 to 1 winner and a 33 to 1 winner, or even the each way bit can pay nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for all your breakdown. Don't forget, guys, thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to read Craig's articles week in and week out. He's writing for golf articles, and he's writing snooker articles because he's a former professional snooker player. So he knows what he's talking about. That's it for today. Thank you, Craig, for joining me, and I wish you the best of luck with your bets, and let's cash on that Baba Watson each way and City Pan each way. Till next week, best of luck, guys, and thank you for watching. See you around.
Lovely, Alex. Thank you.